Hello everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel and welcome back to our playthrough of Arkham Horror, the end of everything, where we're all in for Christmas and New Year. We've got all the expansion boards, nearly all the cards and 8 investigators, and we are up against Azathoth. And we are just about to do, hopefully, the final turn, turn 14. But before I do, just a couple of things to go through. Now, Leo, last turn, actually came out of the gate and he had an encounter at the Esoteric Order of Dagon. That is a little bit of a house rule that I use. Because there's a gate there, he doesn't actually have to have an encounter. The sort of gate overrides the location, but it seems a little cheeky with him just sitting there, hiding, getting away without a location and just staying there. He could just stay there all the time and nothing happened, you know, unless a monster came out of the gate. So that's why I did the actual encounter. What it is with gates, I don't think they fill the whole location, so I suppose he could be hiding somewhere in the Esoteric Order of Dagon, you know, there's some, you know, out of the way corner where the actual gate is. But I thought, let's just give him an encounter. He seemed to be hiding away a bit and it didn't seem right to me, so yes, that is a bit of a house rule. He'll probably be doing it again this turn because I don't think he fancies taking that Shoggoth on. So that is just it about Leo. Other than that, I don't think there's too much else to chat about. So what we'll do is we'll get straight into turn 14 and the upkeep phase. And here we are with our first player, Wilson. I'm a bit stuck for space because all my Shadows of Brimstone stuff's arrived and it's 2 massive boxes, but I think we will be okay. So let's get on with Wilson. Okay, so Wilson is not going to do a great deal this turn. He's just hoping that George can pull off the win. So he's going to stay in the police station. He doesn't have to have an encounter because he's got his odd jobs ability. So he's just going to earn himself another $1. He's not going to go anywhere. He's just going to hang around. So that's it for Wilson. After Wilson, it is Jim Culver. And here we are with Jim. Now, Jim probably won't even have an encounter this turn because he's in another world. But I think what we'll do is, just in case, we will set him up. So he's got a focus of 2. So what we will do is we will move him down to... We'll give him 2 sneak, just to give him a chance, you know, in case we have to give something the slip. Other than that, there's not a great deal for him to do. I think he's fine. We'll keep him with his monstrous aspect and just leave it at that, I think. So that's it for Jim. Next up is Leo Anderson. And here we are with Leo, who'd still be on 4 sanity if I'd remembered his leadership ability. He could have knocked back that sanity loss at the end of last turn, but I forgot. So he's on 3. Now, what's he going to do? Well, he's going to pretty much stay where he is because he's not going to take that Shoggoth on. So he's going to stay in the Esoteric Order of Dagon. He's still got his Explode token, so he won't get sucked through the gate. So that is it for Leo. Next up is Tony Morgan. And here we are with Tony. Tony's stood up now. He only missed a turn. I just put him on his side just to remind myself. So he's actually stood up. He's woke up from his sleeping draft and he's ready to rock and roll. So first of all, he's got to roll for his bank loan. And he gets a 5, so he doesn't have to pay $1. And then he will roll for his blessing. And he gets a 3, so he keeps his blessing as well. That's great. Okay, so what's he going to do? Well, there's not much use in him going anywhere either because we're just waiting for George. So he's just going to stay where he is again, but at least this time he can get a sanity back for free. So before George goes, he will get back to full sanity. Okay, so that's it for Tony. Next up is George. And here we are with George. So no pressure, George. First thing, he does get $2 for his retainer. We will give him $5 now. So I don't think he's got enough change, just in case he has to keep anybody out of jail or anything. So there we go. And yes, what's he got to do? He's got to roll for his retainer. He doesn't have to roll for his blessing. He only got it last turn. So he rolls for the retainer. A 2. Ooh, he only just keeps it. But that's good enough. Right, so he's kept his retainer. But hopefully there will not be a next turn. All he's going to do is come out of that gate, and with his blessed dice he is going to try and seal it, because he has many clues. So we've even got a couple of re-rolls, so we should be able to do it. But in order to do that, let's use his focus and make sure he is getting the most dice for his roll. So we'll put him on 4 law to close the gate. So that's 4 dice. It's a +0 gate as well, so he will be rolling 4 dice. It's got to be in the bag, hasn't it? So come on, George, you can do it, mate. That's it for him. Next up is Bob Jenkins. And here we are with Bob. We'll refresh his Yithian rifle. That uses up all his focus, so he won't be able to move his sliders. But he's got his Yithian rifle back, and he will roll for his bank loan. Come on, Bob. He gets a 6. He's not paying anything back, is he? So Bob doesn't have to pay anything towards his bank loan. What's he going to do this turn? Well, he's just going to go to Arkham Asylum. He's going to spend a couple of dollars, and he's going to get his sanity back to 4, I think. No need for him to go killing anything. As I say, George should pretty much have it in the bag. So we may as well just get his sanity back up to 4, just in case something does go wrong and he has to go out killing stuff. Right, that's it for Bob. Next up is Joe Diamond. And here we are with Joe. So credit rating comes back, and he has to roll for his bank loan. Always fun. He gets a 2, so guess what? Credit rating goes back. So good job he got credit rating. But in a way, he's been failing all these rolls, so everybody else passes them. I think there's only him that's failed them regularly. I think either Bob's failed 1 or 2, I think, but not many. But they've pretty much passed them all, apart from poor old Joe. So good job he did have credit rating. Now, what's Joe going to do? Well, he certainly isn't going to step out into Southside to take that Dart Young on. So he's just going to stay in South Church, and he'll just have a South Church encounter if he has to. The game could be over by then, so not a big deal. He's only got 2 sanity, so, you know, we'll just keep him in South Church. No need to risk Joe at all during the movement phase. Okay, so that is it for Joe. Our final investigator for this particular turn is Jacqueline Fine. And here we are with Jacqueline. What are we going to do with Jacqueline? I'm not going to bother with Ancient Insight. Who's bothered? We're just... She's down to 3 sanity now, and I'll just leave it for the time being. So I'm just wondering what to do with her. She probably won't even have an encounter, to be honest. But we'll move her to the Causeway. We haven't had a Causeway encounter before, so we'll just move her there. We haven't got a Rift token, so we can pretty much move her anywhere in Kingsport. Well, apart from the wireless station and the strange high house on the hill, because you have to stop on each one before you get there. But we'll go to the Causeway. We'll have a Causeway encounter if the game isn't already over by then. So that's it for Jacqueline. Next up is the movement phase. And here we are at the movement phase with Wilson. And Wilson's not going anywhere, so he's going to stay at the police station. After Wilson, it is Jim Culver. Here we are with Jim, who's currently enjoying the delights of the Plateau of Leng. and he goes to the second half of it. That is it for his movement. After him, it is Leo Anderson. And here we are with Leo. As you can see, he's got his Explode token. He's just come out of a gate, so he doesn't have to do the martial law of aid check. He's going to stay exactly where he is. That is it for him. After him, it will be Tony Morgan. Here we are with Tony, and guess what? Yes, Tony's not going anywhere. He's staying at Arkham Asylum. So after Tony, it will be George. And here we are with George. Thankfully, George is going to move. We'll see him shortly, because he has gone to join his friend Leo at the Esoteric Order of Dagon. And what we'll do for a change, seeing as it's probably the last turn, is we'll remember to give him an Explode token. So there we go. Right, that is it for George. After George, it is Bob Jenkins. And here we are with Bob. He's going to move as well. He's going to go downtown, and then he too is going to go to the asylum and say hello to Tony. That is it for Bob. After Bob, it is Joe. Here is Joe at South Church, and that's where he's going to stay. He isn't moving. So let's get across to our final investigator, who is Jackie Fine, and she is in Kingsport. Here we are with the lovely Jackie, and she's just going to go 1, 2, 3 to the causeway, and that is Jackie's movement. If you just have a look here, it says hard going, you must end your movement upon entering this location. So the wireless station, which is up here, and then the strange high house in the mist, they have to, you sort of have to crawl to them. It will take you some time to get up there. But you never know, we may have an encounter at the causeway yet. That is it for Jackie, that is it for the movement phase. Next up is the Arkham encounter phase. And here we are in the Arkham encounter phase with Wilson. Wilson's going to do another odd job. Next up is Leo, as Jim is in another world. And here we are with Leo Anderson. Because he's not trying to shut the gate, my little house rule, he's got to have an encounter. So let's see what happens to Leo. Esoteric Order of Dagon. Accidentally, you find yourself face to face with the altar of Dagon. You are cursed. Damn it. But no big deal. It's the very last turn with any luck. So hopefully it won't affect him too much. But poor old Leo has got himself cursed. Dun, dun, dun. So we'll put that on his player area. Right, that is it for Leo. Next up, we have Tony Morgan. And here we are with Tony, and as per the text, he's just going to take a free sanity, and that'll put him back up to 3, and he is fully sane again. That is it for Tony. Next up, it's the big one. Yes, it's over to George. And here we are with George, who is going to try and seal this gate. So let's have a look. It's a +0 gate, and he has a law of 4. So let's get the wherewithal. Let's move it, put it back in there for the time being. Okay, so he gets 4 blessed dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, and he has 8 clues, so he can spend 3. Well, I'm sure he'll do it this time, and he does. He gets 3 successes. He shuts the gate, and he wins the game. So let's get rid of this. It's a diamond, but it's the end of the game anyway. Everything shuts, all the monsters disappear off the board, and we have won. Let's get a blue seal of funkiness, put that there, and we will spend the 5 clues, if I don't drop them everywhere, and that is it. We have won the game. Top banana. Okay, I'll just pull out and we'll have a few words at the end of the game. And here we are at the end of the game. Woo! We won. Fantastic. It was a bit of a doddle. Couple of reasons for that, I think. One was this absolutely huge Mythos deck, which was extremely kind to us. We got a hell of a lot of headline cards, to be honest. and well, just look at it. I think headlines are the most common card, and we just got a run of them, and we were quite lucky. We what was it? So we had a couple of rumours, a couple of environment mystics and environment urbans, but nothing great. The vast majority of them were headlines, and they were quite easy to deal with. But as I say, when you're pulling out of a stat like that, you know, that's perhaps to be expected. Other than that, the other one was quite surprising. 8 investigators made it extremely easy. I thought it was going to be an absolute nightmare, but I suppose thinking about it, I was thinking about it logistically, and you know, me trying to run them all. I mean, you've only got to look at this. I mean, that's just for this turn. So I was doing 2 pages a turn of notes to make sure that I didn't miss anything, and because it was all organised, I didn't miss that much, thankfully. And because of that, I always had an option. In fact, sometimes I had 2 or 3 options. There were so many investigators on the board that whatever happened, I could always find something to combat it. The challenge was lessened because just had too many investigators. In a game, I think, with 8 investigators and 8 separate players, that might be slightly more difficult, because imagine being Jackie's player, for example, how, you know, they'd be having a great time, wouldn't they, stuck in Kingsport all the time. It didn't bother me because I had 8 investigators to run, so I always had something interesting to do every turn. But Jackie's player had, all the investigators had a separate player. Well, they'd have had a pretty boring time. That said, Jackie also helped. She had an amazing ability, that precognition. So once she got a few clues and she had Mythos Law, she could just knock back any gate burst. That was just huge. Also huge was George's ability. Once, you know, if you're going to play with the Innsmouth board and you get George Barnaby, that is just brilliant. Give him some money and then make sure that none of your guys get arrested. He's just fantastic. What else helped us out? Bob and Joe, finishing their personal stories, they ended up with a hell of a lot of money. Then they also went to and got some bank loans. We were awash with money. We had loads of money to go and buy things. We managed to buy an elder sign. Joe even had a credit rating, so it meant he could never default on his bank loan, which is a good job because he barely ever rolled for it. He kept failing on it. So we were awash with money very early in the game. That helped. And yes. So basically, it was just a question of time before we won, to be honest. We only had that was another thing that went in our favour. With having so many boards and so many locations that could have a gate, well, we didn't get hardly any monster surges. We just had the one. Monster surges are a real nightmare. Fortunately, we only got the one, but there's so many locations that can spawn a gate. You know, again, perhaps that's not to be surprised at either. So we did really, really well, and we managed to win. Yeah, I think in future I'll play with less investigators, because what normally helps me out in every game applies here as well. You know, I only do a turn at a time. I've got at least 24 hours for you guys to weigh in and say, oh, you forgot that, or why don't you play it this way, or give me some, you know, strategy tips or advice, and that really, really helps. I have plenty of time to think about my turns and what I am going to do. In a normal game, it obviously won't be like that. You've got a couple of minutes, otherwise people start throwing things at you and telling you to get a move on. I have loads of time, so that really helps. So I think by reducing the investigator count, that'd help. I certainly do not think I'd play all in like this again with 8 investigators. I'd only play 6. I think 6 would be a nice number, and it'd mean, you know, you're a bit stretched by putting an investigator each in one of the sideboards. You'd only have 3 on the main board, and I think you'd be a lot more stretched. In this game, you know, I had plenty of time for Tony Morgan just to be running around like an errand boy. He was just trading things to people, and that was a bit of a luxury, I think. So, yes, anyway, as far as Arkham goes, this is the last of Kung Fro's sort of introductory scenarios. But fear not, we have got Wolfie 48's scenarios. He's kindly allowed me to use them and film them, and there's another 15 or 16 or so, so I will do those, and they're really thematic as well. So you know, you mess around with the monsters and what have you, and you have specialised monster cups, stuff like that. So that'll be really interesting to do, and obviously I will come back to Arkham Horror because I love the game. What next? Well, first of all, I've got to clear all this away, which will probably take me about a week. I do keep everything separate and in each expansion, so I'm going to have to separate all the cards and everything. And I even separate the monsters by expansion. Put them in a little Plano box. So I'm going to have to do all that as well. It's just going to take ages. But it was well worth it, and I thoroughly enjoyed the game. So yes, I will be back, and it will be back with one of Wolfie 48's scenarios. I don't know when, but sometime this year we will be back in Arkham. We'll also be back in Eldritch. Masks of Nyarlathotep is coming out sometime this year, and that's a sort of campaign mode, so I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully some guys from Tube Tables will join in and we can have a bit of campaign Nyarlathotep. That'll be fun. Other than that, what am I going to play next? Well, I'm going to play next a game that I've had a while, but I've been a bit too scared to play it because, like Arkham, it's pretty complicated. It's fine once you get into it and you know what you're doing. The rule book, again, whereas Arkham's is just a bit crap, this one is good, but it's not, apparently it's not sort of set out in the best way. It's got all the answers in there, but they're all over the shop. Yes, the game I'm talking about is Mage Knight. I'm going to play me a bit of Mage Knight. I'm going to do the first reconnaissance mission, which is sort of like the preliminary mission to get to learn how to play the game. I'm going to play that, and then I will probably do a solo conquest game right after that. So I'm looking forward to that. As ever, remember, this is not a how to play channel or a learn to play channel. This is an old man dicking around channel. So don't tune in to those expecting how to learn the game. Do what I did. Tune in to Ricky Royal's channel, Box of Delights, and watch him play them, because that's how I've learned to play Mage Knight, and he's really good. So you go and watch those. I'm just trying to follow in the footsteps and see if I can play the game properly. Hopefully I can, and we'll have a lot of fun playing Mage Knight for the next couple of playthroughs. After that, I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got a shed load of Shadows of Brimstone stuff that's arrived. I think it's like the minecart pledge. It's part of Forbidden Fortress. I had the gold pledge, and you sort of got like, you know, you got like all the Shadows of Brimstone stuff as well. Now, I already had the 2 base games and Frontier Town and Caverns of Cinder. I've got those again. So I've got quite a few things which are duplicated, but that's fine because the miniatures and what have you, they always come in. You can always do with extra miniatures, extra tentacles, stuff like that, and I can paint them differently as well for other worlds and stuff, because things like tentacles and stuff, if you give them another colour scheme, like white tentacles for, you know, the City of Ancients, that sort of thing, it will mix things up a bit. So I'm looking forward to that. What I'm not looking forward to is assembling all the bloody things, but there we go. That'll take me ages. I know there's loads of people that really want me to get back into Shadows of Brimstone, and I want to get back into it myself, but it will be the end of the year. There is just so much stuff, and I'm going to have to assemble loads and loads of it. I'm going to have to think up some sort of storage solution for it as well. There's like tons of it, but I do now have the extra boxes. So I've got the extra base game boxes, I've got an extra Caverns of Cinder box, I've got an extra Frontier Town box, so I should be able to sort something out. I'll be having laughs with Foam Core, I think, to get all that out. But at least I should be able to store it away pretty well. And yes, so keep your eyes peeled. I may even do some painting Shadows of Brimstone, because it's going to take me bloody months by the look of it. So I might do a couple of videos on that. Not try to steal anybody's thunder. If you want to learn how to paint things, go and watch Rob Oren or Zoastro. They know what they're doing. Mine will just be a daub job. But I am looking forward to it. Shadows of Brimstone, great game. Other than that, is there anything to talk about? Oh, look out for Gloomhaven. I'm going to do that as well. So I will break that out I'm not so sure when, perhaps after Mage Night. So we shall see. Okay, so time for the end of everything. Thank you for watching. Thanks so much for all the subscriptions, thanks for all the likes, for all the dislikes, and for all the views. It's brilliant. Thank you so much. Also, if you've spotted any errors, please let me know. It's a bit late now, but at least anybody watching in the future will benefit from your knowledge down in the comments. So if you have noticed where I've messed up anywhere, please let me know. And thank you for all the help and support, and thank you to everybody who's been across to Board Game Links to have a look at the videos over there, and anybody who's been across to BGG to comment, like the video threads, or drop any geek gold or anything of that nature. Thank you. It is appreciated. Right, I think I've gone through everything, have I? I don't know. That'll have to do. I can't think of anything else. Plus, I can smell my tea. So I'm now very hungry, so I'm going to do one. So thanks again. I hope to see you for Mage Night, but until then, this is me, Catweazle, signing off. Toodaloo.